Can you tell the story? I know you've told us before. Can you tell the story about the acting class you were in New York City where the guy didn't realize what having another grown man's will be, forced on somebody? I think it was your acting teacher that said something pretty interesting to him.
Yeah, that's interesting. I remember there was a kid in my class who was, ambitious and probably in acting for the wrong reasons. Not his fault. He wanted to be a star and he wasn't probably, it's one of those kids who probably, I'll never run punts back in the NFL and he's never going to be an actor kind of thing. And I remember there was another big guy who was just built like you. He's kind of a big Norwegian guy, big, naturally big. And this guy was built a little bit like me, and this kid was a ballet dancer. The Norwegian guy was a ballet dancer. And so, you'd think, well, he's not tough. I knew enough about sports. I had seen his legs and his body. He was walking around probably a natural 210 pounds. And that's not for me, not even lifting weights, maybe even 6'4", big. And this guy who was
like an intro to acting class, by the way? Is very basic?
Yes, and we did a scene, and you do these scenes, and then the scenes would get heated, and we were young idiot actors. We didn't know where to take it. And this guy who, let's just say this guy who shouldn't have been an actor, got pushy and physical in the scene. And sort of a struggle ensued because the other guy who was the ballet dancer was saying, you have to calm down. You need to calm and essentially calm down. And then the other guy got escalated and actually it turned into a bit of a fight. And the ballet dancer just grabbed him, picked him up, threw him on the ground, and got on top of him and held him there. And this guy had never been held down against his will by another man. And
at this point, what is everybody in the class doing? Because it's supposed to be a scene, right?
Everybody was there was a little cloud over everybody's heads going, yay! Because this guy was just a little too cocky.
Right.
And what I knew, so what happened was this guy held him down until he stopped struggling. And what happened to the guy who was being held down was he broke down. He started to cry.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was a very big, and I was very sensitive to it, because I felt so bad for him because there are a lot of men, he was one of them, and not his fault, but a lot of men walking around with a false sense of security. They don't realize that, you might think you're tough. You might have played high school football, whatever it is. And what you don't realize is there are guys out there, and they could be the guy, it could be the UPS guy, could be just some dude. And there are plenty of them that can do that to you. They can do that to you. And I really think that at the end of the day, what he realized, and it's a terrible thing, is that when you're held down like that, you realize two things. One, there are men that can kill you with their bare hands. And two, and even more horrifying, there are men that can fuck you if they want. and that's really what it comes down to. And in fact, my acting teacher, who was a big gay man and a wonderful man, said, let's call the guy. He said, John, what happened here? And the guy was crying. He said, besides the fact that you just almost got fucked.